Prismatic Evolutions was one of the most anticipated Pokemon TCG sets of all time, with packs selling for over $20 on release, sealed product being extremely hard to come by, and tough pull rates making the chase for those Evolution SAR cards being extremely difficult. Let's take a look at the Prismatic Evolutions market 1 week after release and see how the sealed product and the singles are holding up in value. What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Prismatic Evolutions. We're going to go over the market value of the top singles, as well as some of those key sealed products that have already been released. Of course, we're going to have additional waves, more and more product trickling out over the next few weeks and months. But now that the set's been out for over a week, let's take a look at some of the values and see if they've dropped at all or if they're continuing to climb. All right, starting off with the sealed product, I'm not going to go into everything in detail, but we'll look at the key things like the packs, the ETB, the Pokemon Center ETB. Starting with the packs, you'll see on release they were going for upwards of $20. On TCG Player, packs have been going for as high as $17.75, but I know in some cases they've been going for $20, $30, even $40. It looks like on release they dropped down a little bit, going below $11. But since they've been pretty consistent in that $11, $12 range, obviously over time we can expect these packs to go down, or at least hope they'll go down a little bit. But if you're looking to pick them up now and you don't find them for MSRP, it's looking like you're going to spend more than $10 a pack. From there, we've got the ETB. These are really tricky to find. I've only found one for MSRP here in Canada. The week of release, they were going for about $155, which is pretty ridiculous for a brand new set. Whether you're looking to rip them or keep them sealed, I feel like $150 is just absolutely ridiculous for a brand new set. It seems now though they've dropped a little bit. They're going steadily between $110 and $120. As of now, it's sitting at about $115, but I hope it's going to drop a little more. I've talked to my local GameStops and they're expecting more product to come over the next week or two. I'd imagine ETBs are going to be included in that. As more ETBs drop onto the market, it'll hopefully cause the value to drop a little bit more. Next up, the Pokemon Center ETB. I think a lot of people were really surprised they didn't release more of these on the release day of Prismatic Evolutions. Not every release, but for most sets, they drop more PC ETBs on release day. Wasn't the case this time around. From experience, it seems like most of the time you're able to get it on release, but obviously Pokemon wasn't prepared for the amount of demand for this product. They have mentioned they're going to be printing more of these and restocking them in the future. I wouldn't expect it for a little while though. They were pre-ordering at like $400 a box. Dropped all the way down to about $250 on release day and have been pretty steady between $245 and $260. I do also want to touch on the sealed case of PC ETBs, the 4 of them in a box. Since they lowered the limit to 2 pretty quickly after they dropped the product, the initial pre-orders, I feel like there's going to be a premium for the sealed case over time. Right now, the case is going for about $1,150. And judging by Journey Together, I doubt they're going to be letting us order whole cases of 4 in the future, at least not until they've kind of curved the supply-demand issues. So if you have a sealed case, I wouldn't recommend opening it up. If you have loose ones, maybe you have a few, it might be worth selling them because I think they will dip, but eventually they're going to go up more. This is going to be one of those sets that everyone remembers forever, just like something like Evolving Skies or 151. All right, now on to the top 10 singles. We're going to fly through these. I have a tier list going through all the artwork for these coming out in the near future, so subscribe to the channel if you're interested in that. But today we're just going to go over the values real quick here. You've got the Eevee SAR, $230. This one has actually increased about $10-11 on release. Not a big amount of movement here, but a little bit. From there, you got Jolteon. This one was actually going for like $210 on release and is now up to $243. I feel like with the difficult pull rates, all of the evolutions, even if they're not the most popular ones, are going to be going up in value, at least in the short term. Next up, Flareon. It's going for $254. And again, that's an increase from its price on release of about $216. Now, Glaceon is one of those that jumped up a little bit more on release. I think this is probably one of the nicest looking ones. I would put this at number 2 or 3 on my list. On release, it was going for about $265, but is now jumped up just north of $300. Now one that has seen the opposite movement. Vaporeon seems to be one of the fan favorites, but honestly, I don't think this artwork is as good as a lot of the other cards in this set. On release, it was going for about $390, probably $400 in some cases, but since it has tanked in value, it's actually down $85, down to $305 right now. I feel like this one might continue to dip. Like I mentioned, the artwork isn't as good as some of the other ones, and honestly, a lot of these evolutions aren't as nice as a lot of the other special illustration rares in the set, but we'll talk about that more in the tier list like I mentioned. Next up, the Espeon. The Espeon has climbed a pretty decent amount actually. On release going for about $315 and today going for $360. Next up, the only card on this list that is not a special illustration rare, and that is the Umbreon Master Ball Holo. I think this is just due to the rarity of the Master Balls along with the popularity of Umbreon. Literally any of the evolutions could be up here, but everyone loves the Umbreon card, so every Umbreon card is worth something all of a sudden. On release, $600. Pretty ridiculous for this guy. Again, it is rare. It's probably just as difficult, if not more difficult, to get this than the special illustration rare, but it's dropped from $600 all the way down to about $366, and it doesn't seem like there's a ton of these on the market. I wonder if everyone who has them is just sending them to PSA right away, because there hasn't been a sale for this card on TCG Player in about 4 days. But again, this is one of those cards, more packs are going to have to be opened up. You're going to have to wait a while for more to get on the market to really see where the value of this card is going to lie. Master Balls might become an extremely popular thing, but I don't really see it sitting north of $300 in the short term or the long term. All right, now into our top three. We've got Leafeon, which is in the top three, but has actually dropped in value. On release, $470. Right now, sitting at about $405. This seems to be one of the more popular artworks. Honestly, I think the art is pretty nice on this. I'm surprised it's dipped as much as it has. But again, I mean, it's kind of obvious. Everyone's just chasing that Umbreon right now. They want to be the first one of their friends to get it, the first one to have it graded in a 10, whatever it is. The chase for Umbreon is really taking over this set. Number 2 is the Sylveon. On release about $740, but now $553. That's a massive price dip. It's gone down about 22% in the last week. I do think the artwork is really nice on this one, and I feel like it's got potential to stay strong long term. I mean, you look at the Greninja and the Pikachu so far, and those cards haven't really dipped much, if any, since release. These evolutions could stay pretty steady, but with the set being so new, same with Surging Sparks, with the sets being so new, a lot more could get opened, and it's definitely going to affect the price to some extent. I do feel like this one is going to stay in the top 5 indefinitely, though. I think it's a really nice artwork, but of course it's not number 1 because there is an Umbreon chase in this set. Everybody needs that Umbreon. This small graph here looks like a bit of a roller coaster, but honestly the value hasn't really changed too much. On release, about $1,633, dipped down to $1,520, dipped over $100, shot right back up to $1,610, and is now sitting at about $1,560. There's one on sale on TCG Player right now for $1,750. Pretty significant. I feel like people want this card though. People are buying it. To me, it's like absolutely crazy that a card is going for over $1,000, let alone $1,500 plus on release week. Even release month. This has to be the most expensive card released in the modern era. I can't think of anything in the Sword and Shield era that was going for this price on release. Even Umbreon was like a few $100s. Like I remember it being like a $350 card for a while. I feel like just because of the hype behind Evolving Skies and a lot of these new collectors feeling the FOMO of missing out on that set, like, man, if you came into the TCG around 151 or after, you missed out on a lot of really nice stuff. But man, for the price of this card, like if you pulled this card, you could sell this and buy an Evolving Skies booster box, and I think that would be a way smarter financial investment. It's definitely crazy how much Evolving Skies has sort of affected the market. Like that set is a major standout of recent years, and it's directly affected Prismatic Evolutions. Like there was no chance that this set was going to release and not be, you know, a slam dunk of a set. Even if the Evolution SIRs are not as good as the alternate arts. And man, Umbreon has just made everyone hungry to collect Umbreons. Everyone was waiting. They were just waiting for Scarlet and Violet to have a special illustration rare Umbreon chase. It happened. I don't think it's the coolest card. You may disagree with me. You might think this is the best card they've released in years. But no matter the artwork, I feel like there's going to be a value behind this card. People just love Umbreon. I do see this one dipping Will it ever dip below $1,000? I don't know. It's going to depend how much of this gets released on the market. I feel like Pokemon's going to do their best to make the value drop, but I feel like demand from every collector, investor, whoever it is, if you like Pokemon, I feel like demand for the Prismatic Evolutions cards and especially Umbreon is going to be there forever. I'm really interested to see what the future holds for this set. Like I said, like we're only a week out of release. These numbers are extremely volatile. I wouldn't be buying anything at this price. Maybe Pokemon Center ETBs because I feel like that is safe. Even if they were to drop like $100 in price, which I doubt they would ever do, they'll go right back up. That's probably the strongest Pokemon Center ETB they've released. That Eevee promo alone really makes the box. But all these other singles and sealed products, like they're going to drop in the near future. I almost guarantee it. I don't really see anything sustaining. But this Umbreon card, back to Umbreon, I'm really curious to see if it's ever going to hit sub 1,000. And I feel like if it does, that's going to be the number where it just pops right back up. Everyone's going to be scooping them up if it drops $500. You never know. You'll have to wait and see. We're in uncharted waters right now with the whole supply demand going on with Pokemon. We've seen similarities in past years, you know, Shining Fates times, but I don't think it's been anything like what we're seeing right now. Anyways, guys, that's going to be it for today. Do me a favor, hit a hyper beam on that subscribe button and leave a comment while you're at it, letting me know what your favorite card from Prismatic Evolutions is. And with that, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace!